work. A lot of electrical problems in the facility. It's been rectified. The air conditioning in the facility, as you know, when I first came, I just observed. And like I was telling Dennis, there was a teacher that had 4 fans in her classroom, and she was requesting a 5th fan, and I said, why? And it was because the unit didn't work. Well, we got it up and running now. I mean, we can, I would say we're probably 80%, if not 85% air conditioning wise, that we're a lot better. I feel a lot more comfortable. Last Wednesday, we had a fire surge in the building that took out the 2 horsepower motor, obsolete, couldn't find it. We had a next day, we found it in Michigan, I believe, the next day they didn't. Then the coils were bad, holding coils were bad. I mean, it went on and on. So for almost 4 days, anybody that was in that building working, it was hot. I mean, it was bad. I felt bad
really
for
hot weather.
I felt bad for anybody who was in there. It was bad. But we got it back up late Friday evening, and it's been working ever since.
So maybe once school gets underway, we could buy lunch or something for the maintenance and
That would
custodial
be nice.
staff
Yeah,
one day.
Yeah.
Do something nice to order in lunch for them, just to let them know we appreciate, just based on what you said, if they worked that hard all summer to get ready, I think we ought to thank them for that, okay?
I agree.
I thank them all the time, and I was gonna give them something too at the end of the year, because only I know what they did. People think, at times they sat down because they were working in 90, 95 degree weather, but they did what they did. If you look at we still got some things to do. There's arrows, the stencils just came in, the arrows are gonna be painted on, and they cleaned all the back, and, get the weeds as best as we can, because you pull them back within a day or two, but all in all, if you look at the front entrance of Kelly, it looks very, very good.
Yeah, it sure does.
It's in, and as you go through, you're gonna see even blue, there was a lot of imperfections. He went around and he did what, he patched as best as he could to match the paint. That's the lactite that was on the ceiling that we had talked about, that you had mentioned. He knocked all that down, so it's presentable. The kitchen's even presentable. It's like a new kitchen. It's amazing. Just by painting the floor and knocking down the old paint that was on there. So I was excited to see all this happening, because when I first walked around and I looked into these rooms, it was like, wow, what do you plan on doing in Kelly? But it came through. I mean, it really did. The rugs, I had teachers say, boy, I didn't know that the area rug had ABC on it. So, I mean, and the whole thing about this was, we had a lot of, like I told Dr. Jill, we had a lot of equipment, but it didn't work. So we started sending it out, spending a little money to get it back into the hands that it worked. And now they know if it doesn't work, we're going to send it out and get it fixed. You don't have to ask. We
Right.
need that piece of equipment, so let's get it out and get it back in line. We had I found old equipment in the high school that I had repaired, and now it's the backup to, their extractors and things like that. So all in all, this year, they really pulled together. I can't say enough about the crew.
So please, will you remember to work with Rick and Joe to do something nice for those, for that crew for lunch or something like that, and let us know when it is, so maybe we can come too. We'd like them to know that the board recognizes what they did, and we want to thank them for it. Is that okay with everybody? It's okay with everybody?
What would you guys suggest? What type of,
We used to do it
Like-
previous this year. We bought a cow at the county fair and fed them the steaks from the cow. We did do that every
Oh,
single
wow.
year.
Okay, well,
I don't know if it'll work in
yeah, I don't
Pittsburgh,
think
but.
we don't want the kindergartners knowing about that, so, but something really nice.
Yeah.
I don't mean
I agree.
McDonald's.
I always tell them I appreciate them, and I say what I say at the board, but they probably think I'm not saying.
No, that would be
I do.
nice.
Us three can touch base tomorrow and figure something out.
okay,
The,
Subway or Longhorn Steakhouse?
Yeah. I have a couple questions. So the picture of the mulch in the front, did our staff do that, or was that?
No, we did that just yesterday and today.
Okay. And,
The rest of the playground and Turner, that's a little bit too much,
Big area.
that we contracted that out.
okay.
Uh,
And then, so it looks really great, the painted hallways and the floors. What about the classrooms?
Classrooms, not all of them are done, but I did walk through, and there's a lot of classrooms that have been painted. All the bathrooms have been painted. it looks 100% better.
Can we check to make sure that if, and there's not a lot of time still, but the classrooms that didn't get painted last summer can get priority to be done before school starts? Like there's a classroom, then that'll be 2 years that didn't get painted. Do you know what I mean?
We walked through, and I think there's even been teachers that have gone through.
Because the teachers could probably let you know if they're.
Yeah, we painted a lot, even if one wall was blue and it needed painted, we did that wall. But all in all, when you look at these rooms, they're presentable now.
Okay.
Were they
That would have to
totally
be
painted?
mainly Kelly, probably,
Yeah,
would be,
where they-
you'd want to do that at.
Yeah,
Yeah, were they totally painted? Every room, no. But I will tell you, they're presentable now, but before they weren't.
mhm, okay,
I think room 5 was the worst. That whole room was painted. There was a lot that, maybe half of the room was painted, but it's still, we feathered in that corner of the paint that you really didn't see. Some teachers that came in early did notice that there was a lot of activity this summer. And they thanked the custodians for it.
that's great,
Because
yeah.
they said it looked good, smelled good, and like I said, they seen ABC on their rug and they thought they got a new rug, and it wasn't, it just,
Yeah.
it was clean.
Great. What about lighting?
Lighting, all the lighting's been gone through,
Okay.
every lighting is lit, the air conditioning. We're almost there, I'm waiting for 3 motors. They're obsolete, and it takes a long time to get them in. I was happy to get that motor from Michigan this past Friday, because if we didn't have it, we've been still probably a week and a half, if not more. Nobody had the motor, it's obsolete. The building is getting older, and it's just, even the school, the floater wheels, I found them, but it took a while for me to find them and get them in. And you pay extra for that. But in the long run, the teachers and students are, they're
Definitely.
comfortable.
What about ceiling tiles?
Ceiling tiles, when I looked up at the ceiling, they're all in place, everything is there. I have to say, there's no holes in the wall, up in the ceilings. Anyone that had any damage done, it was replaced.
Okay, can we just do like a last call out to like the teachers to say, hey, if you notice that,
Exactly.
something might have gotten overlooked,
Oh,
or just, you know what I
absolutely.
mean? So if they have like a missing ceiling tile or cracked or whatever, that we could just get in there and replace it
Absolutely.
next week. And then, also windows, were they cleaned?
Windows were cleaned at Turner last week. They were cleaned at Kelly, I think they finished up today.
Okay, great.
I did ask
And there's a
him,
picture of a window in there.
I see those
I saw
clean
that.
windows in the
It's really
picture.
I did
They're
ask
clean.
him for every August to have the exterior clean, because our custodians and maintenance can't reach those, so.
Right.
Okay,
And you see a picture of 2 dead trees there, and these trees have been dead for a long, long time. This is right in back of Kelly. One, if it falls, will fall on the house. The other one, if you look at the bottom of the base of the tree, it's starting to rot. These have been there a while.
Mhm.
That one could fall into the playground and children could be there, so I have somebody coming in to look at it and give us a report on that as soon as possible. I just spoke with them before we had this meeting here.
It is our property then.
That is our problem.
Those trees are larches. I have one that's one of the few evergreen, it's a deciduous conifer. In other words, it's a pine tree that loses all its needles in the fall. One of the rare ones. They grow on the steppes of the Russian mountains, and they're one of the oldest trees known on earth. How about that? That I would know something about a tree. We had 7 of them. We're down to 1 now on our property, and they look this nasty. They look just like this in the wintertime, nasty,
Wow.
because they lose all their needles. All
So
right,
we're gonna get those cut down?
Those are cut down. Those are dead.
yeah,
Those
they're-
trees are dead.
They're not cut down yet.
No,
They're
I
gonna
just
be-
spoke with him to
okay.
come give us a quote on
Cool. And that will be a lot, just so, like,
That'll be a
it's only gonna be a lot of
Yeah,
money
this
to
one
cut those
has to
down.
happen.
Those are big, but we need to do it. So would we have to vote on that, or did you could just like do that?
Oh,
Like,
I
Yeah.
basically come to Dr. Joe with the
We'll have to get
code
some-
and we
and then you
discuss.
just give, okay.
So
it just comes out of
I just
the
wanna
money we
hold
approve
the
for.
process up, like
Yeah, that
whatever
has
is
to
the
happen.
way we can get it done.
Life safety is important.
if he can
Yeah.
get them this week, we might be able to get them all.
Yeah,
next
that's my
week.
concern is safety, like, wow.
I'm sure the neighbors.
He knows that school starts and he's gonna try to get that in, but he's gotta come down and look at it, and let me know. In the last couple of pages, as you can see,
Yeah,
this
what's
is the
this?
best part, that's a sore. And also, what had happened was over the course of the summer, we had a lot of sore backing up at Kelly. And when we did a camera on a couple of the sores, we really couldn't tell what was in there. It looked like, I know Dr. Joe, if you can remember, I know I sent it to you too, Rick. It looked like, I don't know what it was. It looked like, like a shell, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was, so what I had them do was, again, this is something that we needed to do. I had them jet every line that was inside and out of Kelly School. And you couldn't believe what we were pulling back into that sewer when they were pushing that jet through those lines. It's high pressure lines, water that goes through and cleans all the pipes.
Right.
Toilets were flushing better, water was going down better. It was about 2,000 plus, $2,200. But you know what? It's like pay me now or pay me later. When you have a building with full, you don't want the smell like this
Plus
was
the smell, yeah.
It was, you wouldn't have school.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would, have everybody hot that day. So pretty much we, in a couple last pages, you see the one from combustion service, that's for the high school. It's this separate page.
Oh,
As you can see, I highlighted some areas, and I spoke with Dr. Joe, and Dr. Joe signed off on this because this is very important, because a couple of things was that he had mentioned was the safety valves on the boiler wouldn't lift. And on a steam boiler, if you don't have your safety valves.
it's the hot water or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
Yeah, so the,
Sounded like a person. Oh, someone's in there, but-
so in his report, he wrote that the safety valves couldn't lift, and if you don't have the safety valves on a steam boiler, you can blow the lid off of that boiler.
Right.
I swear.
So, spoke with Dr. Joe, he basically signed off on that, it was $5,895, and there was also piping involved there too. Just keep in mind, we have one boiler at the high school. You don't want to spend money on the second one to get repaired, it would be so costly, you probably would buy a new one.
So the purpose of all this is to make sure that one boiler we
That
have is
one
in as
boiler.
good a shape as we can get it. Is that,
Without those safety valves working, I wouldn't put anybody in that building.
okay,
It's not safe. Like I said, you could blow the lid off that boiler, and if somebody's in there,
how long has it been like that? Any idea? Well, you wouldn't know, I guess not.
it's probably been that. What I'm
Thanks.
saying, so-
Thanks, I'm glad we found that.
And if you know me, life safety, it means a lot to me. All the life safety in the schools been gone over from the AEDs, the fire extinguishers, just walking around, even the playground. I looked at the nuts and bolts and sat on the swings and made sure everything was in line, nothing was cracked, and everything seems like it's pretty much in line. Looks good. You'll see even up at Kelly, instead of a wood bench, I used the yellow paint to make it look like all the yellow that's around. So it looks like a new bench, but it's really just painted. So I'm sort of excited about the buildings, the way they all turned out.
Yeah.
From Turner on down. Inside the Turners is amazing too. They worked hard, I can tell you that much. Sitting there cleaning little wobbly chairs from the bottoms just so that they would be clean and disinfecting them. And these are things that only I've seen them do. And they worked hard on some along, and I can't say enough about these.
Wow.
This group of people. And the last thing that Dr. Joe and I talked about was, this one spreadsheet was just, what I'm gonna do now is just basically, when I spend money, I'm gonna put it down on this spreadsheet. This one is a quick one. And that way, when you look at it, you'll see that, Johnson Control, 33,000 for the hot water tank, and they're all responsible along with Turner Playgrounds and the mulch, and then the sewer line jetting. So you'll see all that in there, and basically when it was completed, if I can put that down. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm pretty excited on how everything turned out. The PM on all the AC units, all the filters, the concrete was pressure washed in the backs and the fronts. Got a new cold for the pressure washer, and I think I remember sending you a picture of that where it was being used, and it was like night and day how clean it got. Like I said, on there it says lighting, just check when needed, and bathrooms, all bathrooms work now, were in the restrooms were before they did. The ugly black paint that was on the walls
Yeah.
is now off the wall. It's been repainted. So when you walk in, it feels better.
I know, who would paint the
know.
restrooms black in an elementary
I don't
school?
know. That's why that.
I mean, it was like the most bizarre thing I ever
I mean,
saw.
Still, I mean, the floor.
Maybe it was free paint.
I don't know, but it should have never been put there. But all in all, like I said, it looks more like a kid's, I'm excited about the ground floor, so I encourage you, if you have time to stop at both buildings, just look around, you see the before and after pictures. And you'll be amazed once the tables are done, because the new tables are done at Turner, and it made a big difference. More people will be able to sit there, and maybe they'll be able to get more kids in the lunch hours instead of having like 5 lunch hours that go into 1 o'clock. That's our hope. So the teachers know I'm there for them because, we need them and we need the kids to be comfortable. Any questions?
Do you ever see this building too? I'm sorry. Do you ever see this building too? Okay. There's a, hot water.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's, as soon as you
That's the
turn
first I
it,
ever heard that.
it's like something.
It just started about the last month or two.
I never heard that in Washington.
I don't use- I don't-
It's that thing where you turn the hot water on and all the pipes vibrate? Yeah,
Okay.
it just started about 2 months ago.
It could be, that's fine. It could be anything. We'll
Like,
look at
what's
it.
going on?
Everybody-
Where you gonna get the pay?
Thanks for a good
I-
report.
I have a
Oh, okay.
question. So I see the landscaping for the front of Turner. I know last month we talked about the field. I was there yesterday for a community meeting, and I'm assuming we probably need to get landscaping for the field because the weeds along the fence are probably up to my hip.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the process of making sure that's done. I'm
Okay.
also in the process of trying to get somebody, I think I sent you a text from the gentleman who was supposedly supposed to give us a new quote for the bleachers. I know you wanted that.
Yeah, that
The
was my next-
bleachers are not safe.
And we were on them yesterday. I mean, we were fine, but there's definitely, the bleachers, we've got, I don't know if we want to, even me thinking about the kids that are there, like, kids are going to be kids, but I mean, that's the biggest, my fear, like, what if the bleachers just break? I mean, that is literally the wood that was there.
And we should have it blocked off so they're not on there.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not safe.
But
That's
if
not.
it's not, I didn't feel like it was about to fall, but it's just old, it's an old
Yeah,
wooden
there's-
bleacher, whether it's
Did you get a
like
bid, you said?
splinters
I'm trying
or,
to get a bid. Gentleman
Yeah.
just sent me a bid before I came, and not a bid, but he responded, he's responding back. It's hard to get bids.
yeah.
Do you think we'll be able to get, because I know it was brought up last month, it's that weeds along the fence the whole way up. So do you think we could be able to handle that before school?
I
Yeah.
know they were up a week when I can get, but there's, I
I
said.
thought you were gonna do
priorities.
something else with those, because weed whacking them is hard, because the string, they're up
Probably
against the
gotta get
fence,
somebody
it
to
destroys
pull
the
it.
string. I thought you were gonna
Spray them
kill them or
with
something.
vinegar.
I thought you had a different idea,
Yeah,
Ed, no?
We, there is, right now, there is a product that's been used in the school system, so we've been using this product from Burton Fall. It's been working out well, it smells like cinnamon, there's no harsh chemicals, but it does kill the weeds. So we've been trying to do that, but there's a lot of other things that we were trying to do to get these buildings where they're at.
Yeah, no,
That's
and
sort of
I-
like the last thing. Believe me,
Right, no,
I see it too.
Yeah,
Um,
and I live over that way, so I ride past it all the time, and I'm thinking about the kids when they're coming to school, like, not that they understand it, but it doesn't make you feel good when you
Right.
see it. So if we could get that cleared up before the kids get back to school, and then once it is cleared up, just whatever that looks like for maintenance, I literally am so appreciative of the work that your staff is doing, and I know it's a manpower thing. You need
It is.
time.
It
And
is.
so I just want us to not forget about Turner Field, because outside of school, we do have kids that are practicing up there as
There's
well for their
football there,
sports.
too.
Yeah.
Right. There's one gentleman sent me a video of kids playing football.
Yeah. And they're fine. They're playing, but just for me, I'm like, and it was raining yesterday, so I'm like, ugh, it was a little hot, but
No, I understand. What was told to me too, we need more garbage cans. 2 came in.
yeah, we do.
There's 2 lids that are supposedly coming in, hopefully this week. Once they're there, they'll be up at that.
Yeah. Garbage cans would be good.
He
yeah.
did discuss with me, we're planning because but we have 3 maintenance guys. We're gonna house one at Kelly, house one at Turner, and
One's
then
gonna road.
one can move around. And that way, that maintenance person's responsible for that. Now, if there's any time that we need multiple, we can just bring them all together.
Right.
But
Yeah.
one person can be responsible for Kelly, that, the upkeep, and then the same for Turner as well.
Yeah, definitely now one person can handle that, but
No,
once it's,
no, what
once
happens
it's under control,
If they can
then,
ma- yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Right. Once, grass cutting, they're all gonna be on it. Snow removal, they're all gonna be on it.
Okay.
By positioning in a building is just, like you said, just walking around watching if there's weed sprayed before it even goes. I always say weed whack it first, spray it, then weed is good.
Yeah.
Some like to do it the opposite way. I like to do it that way. That way you don't see it, it dies in there. But all in all, no, I know it was done. We had mentioned it before, maybe a month or so ago.
Well, those weeds grow fast.
grows
then, 'cause
fast.
They're high.
It goes fast. So they, like I said, they've been doing a lot. You can only get so much out of trees.
Right, yes,
Plus they're taking off and.
very much. They
It
need
was
to,
like when school was on, everybody else took off. I'm standing there saying, I got 2 people to do all this.
yeah,
And that's what happened all
Yeah,
during the
next
course of
summer,
the
we
year.
may want to think about how our custodian secretaries use their, kind of like what we do, because our summers are so busy to where maybe because they all feel like they got to use it in June. And then we're
Oh.
starting off with nobody.
yeah.
June, July, August, there was one time there was 2 people, no, 1 person, and I was helping them scrub the floor, and not that I care, but it's just. that,
Right.
There was only 1 and everybody's taking off, and I'm thinking to myself, how are we gonna get all this done?
Right.
But, they did pull it through. I mean, it still happens now where you may have 2, 3 people, they call off sick, and that's fine, but we'll get there. I'm surprised, like I said, how well the buildings look, and I encourage you to go see Kelly.
We will.
Especially
Yeah,
the ground
definitely
floors and
will.
walk through. And if you see something, let me know.
So-
Kelly's not perfect, but
Yeah.
I think it's a lot better, it's been a lot done. Even the man door that Dr. Joe and Rick and I talked about, that's gonna happen at Kelly, where it's gonna be set up just like Turner. You're gonna need your badge to get in. Now you're in that little, what we call, we call a man lock. And then you're gonna need to be buzzed in there. So now it's not like you're just walking through again. So the security guard will buzz you in. He'll be the one who'll be talking to you whether or not, who you're here for.
And when do you think we're gonna have that done?
Well, I got confirmation from Horizon just today. And when you get their little email, things are moving. Because I try to tell them, boy, I'd like to see this before the school starts. And again, you've seen the parts, are not in stock, they're hard to get, but they said that they'll try.
We
So-
tried all the scenarios that we've discussed in previous meetings, and that he brought this seems like the most obvious choice, because our biggest concern was we didn't want to spend $20,000, and then,
Right.
Yeah.
then during renovation, it's all gonna be scrapped. So for the cost, I was surprised when he brought the cost to us. I think it was right around
It
$5,000
wasn't even 5, yeah. it
to
wasn't
do
even
this, and then we
5.
can actually kind of cover the windows too, so where they can't see in as well, but we can see them in that vegetable.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of getting a bid on that, film for the windows too.
Cool.
So all in all, I mean, there's that security there. I mean, security's only good as your staff. If your staff doesn't do it, if you're walking in and you got your badge, but let's just say someone's behind you, you have to step back and let security handle who's behind you, because if you hit it, now he or she's with you, and it just doesn't work. And it seems like everybody should go through the front, because if you go through the front, people know you're here. A lot of times people go on the side, and that's where it breaks down. And I'm still waiting for quotes on the doors, the exterior doors of the building at Kelly. Just because they're old and, we have signs on it, please make sure the door closes behind you, and that's not good. And there's side doors, and that goes out to the playground. So we're opening ourselves up to a lot of liability by putting a sign that says, please make sure the door closes, because we know we have a problem. They measured 100 times, and, I know I've copied Dr. Joe and Rick on. It's just hard to get material. And even when you get a quote, it's months.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing Horizon. Hopefully they do come through, if not the beginning of school, a little bit after that, just so Ronnie, who's our security guard, is And him and I talked about this, so everything that he wanted is gonna be there.
Good.
Okay.
It's good to hear. Yeah, we need to move on unless you have anything
I'm
else to
done.
add.
No,
Okay.
I took too much of your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate
No,
all
thank,
this.
this was a good
Yeah, no, we
report.
needed that.
I appreciate talking to Joe and Rick, because without them, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, very much.
And please reiterate that to your staff too.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, Please let them know.
I will.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thanks,
Have
Ed.
a
Good
evening.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
Nice meeting you.
So,
That's one of the best
finance,
maintenance report I've heard in a long time.
yeah, that was great.
Very,
Finance report, well, is not gonna be given by Deb at future meetings, not Ed, even though we had that one, because Ed was doing it. But, I don't know if there'll be a report. There's not this month, right? No finance report yet.
No, I have a couple things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rick, okay.
Well, just so everybody knows, too, Debbie was named finance chair, Ed Winder, finance chair, so we met yesterday for probably about 2 hours, I think, and I'll try to get her caught up, at least with the budget. Talk about the budget, talk about,
I know.
just finances in general, and I'm sure Debbie's gonna go through things, I gave her a stack of stuff, and she'll have questions, and we'll get her caught up to speed pretty quick. But a couple things, one, the audit, was here, the auditors were here for 2 days in August. They'll be back to start their full week of audit in September. They just do their testing and their preliminary work, and then tell us what they need to see, and we get it ready for September. Just real quick, we ended June 30th, 2022 cash with over $13 million in cash, which is the highest we've ever ended since probably Debbie, going back to when you were here.
We used to, back when we started, we used to have to borrow money at
Yeah.
the end of the year to pay,
Yeah.
to make payments. We always had to get short-term loans.
Right, not fund balance, Ed.
I understand.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
understand.
when you said that, Ed, that's not the fund
I
balance.
know, it only took me 10 years.
Yeah, so 13 million in cash. We're still projecting, we worked on our projections for the May and June board meeting for budget. We're in the process of updating them, because a lot of things changed since we gave them to the board back then. We lower taxes, we got more money from the state revenue, we have more money coming in on other taxes, and we've adjusted some of the expenditures as well. Also too, and I don't know if I shared this with the board, but it kind of just hit me today, make sure everybody knows, our gaming revenue for next year that we receive usually is around 800,000. It's 1.014 for next year.
Well, nice.
So we received a $200 and some thousand increase in our gaming revenue. So that's just from the slot machines. So
Does that fluctuate?
Yeah, no, well, yes and no. So it's been flat for 10 years. It fluctuated this year. More people might be gambling. You know.
COVID.
And it's not,
You can do it online now. You can
Right.
do it at home.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not the tables, it's not betting. It's just
Just
slots.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and just so everybody knows too, so when after the board reduced the taxes, they got reduced even more because of that. That reduces our taxes and the state gives it to us in their revenue. That's that homestead farmstead.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what is the fund balance projected to be now?
We're looking at around 10.3, 10.5, somewhere in that neighborhood for 2022.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So what's the difference between fund balance and cash?
So cash is the money that we have in our bank account. That we
Okay.
have. What's that?
That's excellent.
No.
No, it could- well, some of it could be.
Yeah, some of it could be ESSER, right, Mike? So some of it could be the ESSER funds that we used ESSER funds to do what our normal operating money was gonna be for, and we didn't spend that money, so it ended up going into the fund balance, so to speak. Cash is just money we have on hand at the bank, that just in the bank account. The fund balance is after we go through July and August, because remember, all the teacher salaries and all their benefits and everything get booked back to June. So after all that stuff happens and all the charter school bills come in for August, which gets pushed back to June, once that ends, then that's kind of what makes your fund balance. So it's basically the difference between your revenue and your expenses for the year.
How much we'll have left is the fund balance?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, after we
Yeah.
pay what we still gotta pay for
Yeah,
the
but
last
our
school year.
cash is cash on hand. It's like right there, we can use it today. And that's
Okay.
the highest it's ever been. That's a lot of cash to have in our bank. So to lead into my next comment is, back in 2019, when we had that kind of, now we've never had that much cash, but we did a lot of investing. We would call up we can only do certain things with school district money. We're not allowed to do a lot of different things, but we deal with what's called Pennsylvania School District Liquid Asset Fund, PSLAF. The rates went from 0.5% in June to 3% this month. So I took somewhere in the neighborhood of about $8 million of our cash and then started to invest it. And it comes due every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, up to a year. So now that's going to be interest earnings for the district. Now, if you saw our interest earnings in the previous budget presentations and our previous finance presentation, I think last year we brought in $3,000 in finance, interest earnings. We'll probably bring that in on one account a month this year. We're projecting $150,000.
Oh, nice, very nice.
This year.
What did you invest in?
It's probably a mutual fund.
Yeah,
Sorry.
kind of, well, I don't want, it's,
CDs.
yeah, they're seeing.
They're safe. They're
Yeah.
not things that are going to
Yeah.
fluctuate.
It's just for public school systems.
Yeah.
So it's,
So you have options though, or?
you know, we don't have a lot of options. Our only options are the time period. So they give you a minimum amount you have to put in, and then they say this amount for this many months, this many months, this many months. And all the rates are anywhere from 2.85 to 3%. So I just kind of threw it in different things, knowing when things come due that we have to pay, that money freaks out. But for the first 6 or 7 months, remember, real estate's slow. And that money just keeps coming in every month. And so I can invest early on, knowing that at the end of the year, that money will be there and the real estate stocks.
Right.
Okay, so it's very safe. It's not stock market. It's none of that. It's just, like Matt said, CDs or treasury.
It's
I think it's treasury.
guaranteed money.
Yeah,
It's
treasury
guaranteed.
bill,
It's
yeah.
not, you don't have to worry about going down and
And
losing
we
money.
lose money, okay.
Yeah, no. So, that's it.
Good deal.
All right.
So next month we'll get back on track in the audits here. And get the amount of meetings.
Okay. All right, so then we don't do approval of minutes, right? Obviously, that would be next. Okay. 5, education curriculum, waterfront learning, Dr. Milishnik.
Yeah, this is just a renewal of Waterfront Learning actually bought Imagine Learning, which Imagine Learning we use for our language, reading, literacy, and math, but we're not using it for math this year. So last year, we spent $60-some thousand. This year, we're only spending 34, so it's cut in half because we have that new math program and it doesn't work. It's not. We already have stuff that's working with our new math program, so we'll be asking to approve the renewal of that this year. It's just Waterfront Learning ended up buying it, I guess.
All right.
I have a question on the minutes. I think you skipped over approval of the minutes. And I wasn't here for the last meeting, but when I quickly looked at the minutes, and there are some minutes that say per the attached MOU, but there's no attached MOU in the minutes. And that would be helpful when you're looking for this, to make sure that we have whatever attachment is there included in the.
I just thought, and maybe you know that you still, I thought that automatically rolled over when
That doesn't roll over. That's where you have to add the,
oh, that's right.
yeah, you
I'm
have
gonna
to.
have to go back and do that for probably 2 months. I bet you I forgot to do it the previous 2
Yeah,
months.
I've noticed that. from a
Thank
couple of them. So,
I forgot that didn't roll over.
yeah, you have to go in and manually
Move them.
remove them.
Thanks. I'll have that for Tuesday.
All right, instructional staff, A, resignation, Dr. Milishnik.
Yeah. Board will be requesting to accept the resignation of Christina Moroz, special education teacher at Turner Intermediate, effective August 8th, 2022. She's been with us for 3 years, and she moved, she got a job right in our house.
Tenure and on.
Tenure now. And we'll also be approving the resignation, and these are 2 special education teachers, Alexandria Coyle, special education teacher at Kelly Primary, effective August 12, 2022. So we already started advertising for both positions as well. We were debating whether we needed to hold these positions. The administrative team felt we didn't need to hold them right now. And this is somebody we approved last month. Right. I kind of felt this was going to happen. She was honest with me. She goes, last month she agreed to accept the job, but she said she was going to continue to look for a full-time position because this wasn't a full-time position. It was a full-time building substitute effective immediately that she's resigned. She got a full-time position. So.
All New hires?
New hire, board action requested to approve the Carly Weldy as a long-term sub for the 2022-23 school year. At a salary at step one, $45,363 in all their terms for the current MOU, and an effective first teaching day of 2022-23. This is where next week we have our legislative meeting after our first day. And we would like to have her there for the first day.
So,
Everybody here is comfortable.
pardon me?
Joe was looking at me, as long as everybody here is comfortable with that.
So did everybody understand that? So the first day of school is before we would have a chance to vote on this. So what we would do would be to, by consensus, tell him it's okay to hire her, and we promise we're gonna ratify it when we do vote next week. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah, and her her resume was sent to you guys last week in the weekly update. So you want to take a look at it as
I
well.
was just gonna say, what does that entail, and do you get like a package?
Yeah, usually on our weekly updates, you will see, we'll make sure that that's in the weekly update, the resumes. So you can
Okay.
actually review the resumes as well.
Did you say no, you weren't comfortable with it?
No.
Okay. Down here, you're okay?
And this long-term sub position, just to give you an idea, we have two long-term subs that are going to be teaching in a specific classroom all year while somebody's out. So.
No, I'm good.
So the next E, F, G, and H, we're just asking to hold those for next week in case we do have some interviews this week. If some of these interviews that they stand out, we're hoping that we can at least get one of the two special education teachers. But we wanted to be able to hold those positions. And we just had a resignation of a non-instructional staff on 7A.
We just approved that one too.
We just approved that one as well. And it's kind of, I know Carrie, I didn't know this person. Carrie knew this person well, and she said she was very good. Like,
Yeah.
she was kind of disappointed that, but I don't know the circumstances around this one.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you know them, don't you? Hello, or Shalaya.
Shalaya.
That's it, I couldn't, yeah. We approved them last month, but they pulled back. They've already got another job.
Yeah.
But they're from Wilkinsburg, they know
Yep.
the community well, so.
So that was kind of
That's
disappointing.
yeah, I'm sad too, because I was excited to see her. She came to the meeting and everything.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we are continuing to advertise. If anybody knows anybody, we have two special education openings. We have now this position here, special education paraprofessional. And we are going to continue to advertise for those kindergarten teacher assistants as well.
Okay.
So they're out there.
Can I just ask real quick, so with that, so they hadn't even started yet, because they were gonna start for the new school year, right?
Yes.
So they might have got something else, but that tells me maybe what can we do? Do we need to,
Increase the rate.
I mean, what were they
What were we
getting paid?
paying?
1804.
Or are there exit interviews or?
Yeah, we try to do the exit interviews as much as possible, like with these two that are two teachers leaving. Now, Shalaya didn't even start, so.
The other thing I would say is the rates that you're paying these folks are subject to collective bargaining.
Right.
Oh, that's
You
right.
can't
Okay.
make an adjustment without
That is
that.
a collective, got it. But again, well, that was I can't say that now. That was executive session, but yeah, okay.
All right, so 8, board committee reports, A, joint tax committee.
Joint tax committee meets next Monday. Deb, are you gonna,
Do we figure out who's gonna be going?
yeah, are you gonna be able to be on joint tax?
Are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking you to, because our resolution says the finance chair would be on it. We finally got that straightened out. It's supposed to be president, finance chair, and business manager. Rick said he can do them virtually. So,
Let's talk about the voting.
Well, there has to
Oh.
be 3 voting ones. Rick isn't a voting member.
well, but our resolution specifies that he's on, we gotta get that straightened out. Because who would
Well, that resolution that you're looking at was probably the very first resolution that we ever had when the business manager was on that.
yes.
But we also had a second resolution that I think changed it after when Josh and Kathy were here, because all of that stuff changed with Josh, and then we had a new resolution. Now, I could go back and look to see, that's why it would be nice to have in the library under resolutions, what
Yeah.
those resolutions
Well, I
were.
did go back and find one, but maybe I found the wrong one. Because the one I found specified president, finance chair,
And that
and
was the
business
very
manager,
first
and,
one.
and
But
he would have
then-
been a voting member
When
then.
Josh was finance chair and he was on that committee and they redid the bylaws for the joint tax, and then we passed another resolution.
Okay, so we need someone.
Yes, I will.
So Eric, are you still interested in being?
He has his hand up.
Yes, I will accept.
Okay, great. So there's a meeting next Monday. I'll get a hold of them and have them add you to the mailing list, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is this what you
Oh,
want
wait,
to
no,
tell
I'm
me
sorry.
about?
Taj is gonna do that. I forgot, yeah. Do you still want to do it?
Yes, but I have class Monday nights.
On Monday nights?
Monday nights from 5:30 to 9:30.
We'll find another job for you, all right? Because then we'll put, and Eric was interested in this before and I forgot. So at least we can fill the slot and we'll find something else really good for you to do. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome.
Okay, Forbes Road East update, Michael.
All right, so Forbes Road didn't meet last month in July. The next meeting is Thursday, the 25th at 9:30.
All right, C, Eastern Area Schools, Eric.
Eastern Area Schools will meet next week. We will be voting on a purchase of a tractor, just a simple need. There has been some significant developments. We are exploring a potential change in our building location for the Eastern Area School Systems. Gateway in Monroeville is currently rehabilitating their middle school, and they are expanding the size of that middle school. When they are finished with those renovations, they will vacate a building that they would be willing to dedicate to the purpose of Eastern Area Schools. That will be a subject of discussion on the next board meeting. Other than that, there's no other significant developments since the last report.
Eric, does that mean that they are not going to fix the roof?
We have looked at the cost of the roof. Currently, it does not seem, Debbie, one important thing that you may not be aware of is that the jointure was exited by 2 of the 8 districts. Penn Hills did not agree to the new jointure resolution, and Plum did not agree to that same resolution. So there are 6 remaining districts. It's not clear what the plan is for terminating the interest in the existing school. As you probably realize, we all have a joint interest in that, and there will be some type of resolution necessary to divest the 2 exiting districts from that information. So the 6 remaining districts are interested in maintaining the program throughout the 2 years that the AIU has indicated that they would need to unwind the program. And so we will need to be in that existing building for the next 2 years. Currently, I am exploring at Ed's suggestion that we look into a temporary type of solution. We have used within our district Steel City Roofing for roof remediation issues. It looks like they might be able to do something to extend on a short-term basis the roof integrity. And if that's possible to do so, I would like to recommend to the board that we explore that situation. So I'll be advocating that type of situation at the next meeting. I've been trying to get a hold of the Steel City Roofing folks. I have not yet been able to have a full conversation on that. But I do think that based upon Ed's recommendation of the product that we had prior used on our own roofs that seemed to work well, I do think that that's likely to be a possible solution to this problem at very modest cost that we can afford.
I hope you're right, but my recollection was when I was on that board, we had many people coming and looking at the roof, and that was my concern when we were doing our roof because of the concerns that they had there. And they said that it was too far gone, that wouldn't work.
Maybe I just told Eric,
Yeah, no,
gave
it's
Eric
worth looking into it again, maybe having them look, I still say you have people look at it and you try, if you're looking at a 2 years, a 2-year fix, maybe they could do something for 2 years. Maybe they couldn't do something for 20 years, but
Eastern Area Schools is a consortium, it was 8, now it's 6 school districts that went together maybe 15 or 20 years ago to form a consortium, and they run a building in Murraysville called, not Sunrise.
Sunrise.
School, and it's for special ed students whose needs are greater than the districts can handle. You know what I mean? So it's for special ed students. So it has worked really beautifully for a long time, but every school district has a representative on it. Debbie was ours, Eric's our representative on their board now, and now it's having real problems with some districts wanting to leave. Just so you know what we mean by Eastern Area, it's out there. And we have, I think, 5 of our students who attend. So.
Okay, moving on, treasurer's report, Dennis.
Next week, we'll be voting to approve the report that's in front of us here. If there are any questions.
I have questions on treasurer's report. And bear with me, I know, but I was looking at all of these things, so just be patient with me until I get to know these. CM Region life insurance payments were in there for April, May, and June. Are they going to be included in last year's business?
Yes.
Okay, because I noticed, is there some reason we pay these quarterly? Why they were April, May, June?
I think we do pay them quarterly, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are quarterly, yeah.
And then there was, and Denny already talked about the overage charges,
Yeah.
the printing overage charges. This is overage, not a lease, for over $10,000 in 1 month.
No, that's the year.
That was the
For
year?
the year.
Yeah.
For the year.
Oh, I thought it was 1 month.
No, that's the year. And I can explain why. After I sent the email out to the board, I ended up getting the itemized list of copiers. It's 2 copiers, and we really gotta watch this. Our black and white copiers in the buildings are not being used. Everybody's using the color copiers. So for instance, at Kelly, they did 140,000 color copies. We're only allotted 44,000 because of that. So
Is the color, is there a copier out, because it used to be only one copier was color, the one in.
It is. It's still one color at both buildings.
Wow.
So one color copier.
Wow.
So just so everybody knows, the way that these meter readings work for, they take our history, and then when we get our new contract, they look at our history and they say, you've done this many copies, X amount of copies, we're gonna build your contract for that those number of copies.
Right.
And then, however, if you go over, it's X amount of cents per click, right? So we did, I don't know, I'm gonna say 60,000, we allotted 60,000 copies, black and white on the machine. They didn't use it, they used like half of it. We allotted, I don't know the exact numbers, 50,000 color on one machine. They used 140.
Yeah.
And it's at both buildings.
So can we renegotiate the contract? I don't know, maybe
I think
we
it's
do
up
more
this year.
printing. I'm not saying that
It's
we
up this
shouldn't
year.
do that, but I know you can renegotiate the
Yeah.
contracts to allow more color copying and
Mhm.
less black and white. And it
And
may,
it could be, number one, the cyber program. It could be stuff for that. It could be because of COVID, kids were working from home.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, I'm
because
just
this
saying.
building's overage on the color copier was only like 900 some bucks. So
We can track also
who uses it?
who's doing the copies.
Yeah.
If we can try to.
Do they even know though that there's these limits on the printers
No.
when they're, and I think if they knew and were aware of how that works, they would be more intentional. Because do we know if they're printing black and white from the color and it's
That's
counting for
Yeah,
color?
that's
That's what I'm thinking, because I can't imagine the teachers are just like, yeah, everything color, you know?
People just don't care.
Right.
I
I
don't
work
think
in
they
a
don't
hospital.
care. I think they might not know.
I work in a hospital, I do supply, right? We tell these people, look, those things that they put on your finger to measure your oxygen, those things cost the VA like $400 a piece, all right? Yeah, and so please, when you put it back, put it on the thing so that those little, so that the lights don't burn themselves out, you know? Go in there, they're just laying there any type of way, they don't care. It's not their money. You know, I had a thing with HP like that where they monitored how much I printed and then they would send it. I felt like I was getting scammed. I was getting ripped off. Why don't you just buy it yourself instead of going through them?
But,
Well, no, I mean, so we've done that in the past and it come back to bite us.
Yeah.
Probably 9 years ago, the business manager bought copiers. Oh, okay, bought copiers and, it came back to bite us later, because what happens then, Mike, is you're stuck with them. When we do with these, they're lease, we turn that lease in and it works towards a new lease.
Oh, you're talking about the copiers.
Yeah,
not
copiers.
the- I'm thinking ink, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So,
Yeah, you're just paying for this program, you're just paying for this, the number of copies that you print.
Mhm.
So you're not paying for anything else, all the other stuff that you print, so that's how they,
Oh, it's almost like mileage or something.
Yes,
on a
exactly.
lease, yeah.
exactly.
So toner and color and all that, that's all.
Toners, we get a lot of supplies for those included, like toner, the color stuff, the staples are included. Jermaine just put a thing out there that said that if you make a black and white copy on a color copier, it doesn't count towards color.
Oh,
So it is just color.
okay.
Now, the one thing that we did set up with our copiers, and it's not happening, is if you print to it, it doesn't count. It's only copies. It's only when you stand there and make a copy. So I can send all the color stuff I want, or black and white stuff, and it doesn't count towards clicks.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
That's why we try to get rid of people having printers in their offices.
Yeah, right.
Force them to do that.
Yeah, right.
Well, it might be worth just making them aware of it, that, you
Yeah,
know,
I
that there's a
think so.
cost, but I'm not saying don't copy, I'm just saying, could we
Yeah.
renegotiate
They're
Our-
coming up. Yeah.
our lease, to accommodate, so we don't pay so much in overage? The last one I had was for fire water response, it was $159,000 for structural repair at the high school, and I just wanted, what's the
So
status of
Yeah,
that?
we
What's
had a
structural?
huge 4-inch line break at a seam up at the high school, and it flooded the auditorium. And it,
Oh, wow.
yeah, the balcony down onto the main auditorium. So we had, the whole thing was replaced, it's like brand new.
Was it covered by insurance?
Yes. Yeah, everything was insurance. So what you're seeing when we pay is insurance.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
100, it was $360,000 total.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
I just wanted to add a comment about that. Sorry. So if there's anything we can do on the end of maybe reducing costs, like negotiating better deal with the company, I'd rather go that route than restrict the teachers.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know like there were papers that would come home, most of the time they were not in color. And actually it was something I even went to Dr. Joe about, like sometimes some of them gotta be in color because you can't tell them to circle, you know, the red triangle and it's not red, nothing's in red. So they have to feel like they're not limited or like, oh, I'm limited on what I can do, because when it comes down to it, that's, you want the teachers to be able to do the best they can. And then the kids, to get the best look, if it needs to be in color, it should be in color. I don't want people to feel like they're limited. So because, that's something I feel like has to be done. So if it doesn't need to be, that's one thing, but I don't think teachers are just out there like, I'm just gonna do everything in color and not care. That's not happening, because I've seen it where like I thought certain things should have been in color, or could have been, but I wanted to make sure that they didn't think that they couldn't have things in color. So I had actually mentioned Dr. Joe, and he had made sure that he was gonna let the teachers know, they
We
could.
did-
So,
we did.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I
No,
don't want the
I
teachers to
agree.
feel like,
No.
oh, we're saying you're doing too much in color. It should be on the other end. We're like, are we getting screwed, on the price, or what's going on? So.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I'm not saying we don't want them to do
And
color.
I didn't hear, I just knew
Yeah.
what you guys were talking about.
I just,
so.
it's just, can we negotiate it
Right.
better?
Because we
Yeah.
did put every type of safeguard in place, like, our ID badges that we swipe in our buildings with, that's the only way you can call them.
Yeah.
So we try to keep, things under control, best we can, but like Michael said, they just make copies. They just go through things.
But these would have been useless in black and white.
See, that's- you're
Case
right,
in
yeah.
point, or I thought that the letter that you sent around about
Mhm.
explaining the tax reduction, color just attracts all of us, and for kids, I think it's 100% more. But it's just the idea, it's still a lot of money, but I think it's smart.
It's just a matter of.
It could have been like a lot of the stuff that we sent out with summer that we were all talking about how nice it looked.
Yeah.
Did we print those ourselves?
Some stuff we did, some went to Minuteman.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like I said, it could be because we're doing more copying and more in-house stuff. But those are just things and questions that come up of why are the
Yep, I agree. No, no, no.
Right.
Okay. All right, next. Okay.
I think, where we at here? Conference travel request?
Staffers. Oh.
Conference travel request?
Yep, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that.
Rick, that's you then?
Yeah, so it's just approving, I think right now it's only Diana and Naughty going to her normal conference that she goes to every year up at Hershey.
Okay.
It's for hymns.
Okay.
While we're on this subject, wait, I mean, last call, if you want to go to the PSBA conference, the School Board Association conference, October 30 to November 1 in the Poconos, you got to let us know soon so we can get people hotel reservations in the conference hotel. And we approved it for a good number of people to go, Deb, because nobody's gone for the last couple of years. In fact, we said anybody who wants to go can go this year.
Does that satisfy his training? I know Matt sent something that I'd have to go through training, and I don't, Taj probably would have to go through training.
I don't think that does, I'm not sure, Deb.
Okay.
The training's gotta be approved by the department, and I don't know whether that does it or not.
Yeah, and I can't,
It'll be on their website, Deb.
you may
If
want to
they-
check the events. There might be something for new board members there included in it, but I'm not 100%
It's
sure.
probably like the official new board member training, but do you have to do that since you've already done it before probably?
Well, everybody's supposed to have so many hours of training, even, when you're reelected, we had to have so much training. We would do it like through the AIU or things like that. So I'll just look at either PSBA, they might have some online training or some.
Well, and the answer may be different for you,
Mhm.
since you're reappointed, and it would be for Todd.
Okay.
Bring me the
It
new board.
specifies you to go through certain topics that may not be covered by just the general.
Well, I'm assuming it would be Ashley and Michael too. 'cause
Yeah,
they're-
because I didn't do it.
Yeah,
If
Mike-
you haven't done it yet, that'd be correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they would have to do the training too, because they're new.
Yeah, I didn't know that I would need to do that. But I did have a question about the PSBA conference. That's not a weekend, it's weekday.
I didn't look at the calendar. It's
Yeah.
October
I think it's-
30 to November 1.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that
it's
goes to a Tuesday. That's a Sunday to a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Halloween, yeah. What? Right, on Halloween, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is Halloween weekend.
Well, that's dumb.
You can wear your-
I mean, not that I care, but
You can dress up.
yeah, I already got my outfit, but
So, so we need to know who's gonna actually go, confirm. If you haven't yet and you want to go, you need to get it into Ed. And then also we can discuss at a different time, but if you're interested, maybe carpooling, that would be another thing, maybe, because there's so many of us going. So Ed has offered to drive everybody.
Do you really want?
Oh, shotgun.
You should try.
yeah, well, if I get my patch off.
Okay, so
Absent.
moving along, finance 11, but that, we did a finance report, so we just, what is that?
That's just for voting on finance items.
Okay, so, and we just jumped down then to, right, because we're on policy and planning, so 13, board governance,
Yeah, we'll be requesting to approve the agreement with Stats Nursing for the 22-23 school year. And board actually requests to approve the following rates for the LPN at $52.88 per hour, registered nurse at $57.88 per hour, and the specialty nurse at $74.88 per hour. This is approval in case we need them. It's usually a special ed issue that where we do have one or two kids that do have, I know one offhand that needs a specialty nurse because of all the needs that the
Full
school.
time.
Yeah, to get to school, at school, and to get home. Yeah.
The contract actually says it's going to automatically renew in 90, unless we give 90 days notice. Is that something that we can? I mean, but the motion is just for the 1 year. But is that something we change the motion, that it would automatically be renewed
We'd have to change the contract.
or change the contract?
So, I mean, it's not, it says it's an automatic renewal, it should give 90 days notice, so.
Right. So, but if we don't give 90 days notice and I don't have any
Automatic
confidence that we would get, at the end of the,
So, I mean, if you want, I mean, there's not two ways you go. You either modify the contract or you approve it and then provide notice that you don't
90
want to
days,
automatically
3
renew.
months. I mean, we could check with them. Could we maybe check with them to change that to 30 or 60 days? I can
But
do
we
that.
only use them if we
Need them.
need
You
them,
only
right?
need-
So is that harmful if they have it in it?
Yeah, somebody just has to manage the 90 days.
Right.
And
But I think
you're gonna need this service,
Right.
not just this year, but, you know, you're
Right,
always
I
gonna
guess
have kids
what
that
I'm-
need it.
What I'm saying is though, because it says it'll automatically renew unless we don't give 90 days notice. If we do give 90 days notice, if we don't give 90 days notice, and then next year we have a different company doing it, what does that do? Does that obligate us to them versus the other company? Because I can guarantee you the board is not going to remember
Well,
that,
the
what,
administration is the one that needs to remember.
Yeah.
right. So do we have the things in place to remember that 90 days, somebody's calendar, that we have to decide if we're going to renew it for the next year or let it go or cancel it?
Well, between myself and the special ed director and Rick, between three of us, hopefully, you know, we'll put it in that calendar. I may reach out to them though, to see if they could change that, because I have my same concerns that you do. Change that to 30 or 60 days and see if we could do that.
Even then, it still has to be on somebody's
Yep.
calendar to do something, or else my concern is that next year, we're gonna have a different company that we wanna use, but this one's gonna automatically renew, and I was going to have a fight between one that says, no, you have to use us versus the other one. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I haven't looked at this contract before, so, but I don't see anything that says that it's exclusive. But we can go back and I'll work with Dr. Joe, we'll work on the contract.
And have it written.
After school program, Dr. Malishnik.
Yeah. The after-school program, will be requesting to approve the after-school program for this school year. Neighborhood Learning Alliance will supplement that cost as always, using county and 21st century funding. The Neighborhood Learning Alliance will pay staff $15 an hour and coordinators $17 an hour. The district will be responsible for the remaining $10 an hour for professional staff and $20 an hour for paraprofessional staff, $20 an hour for professional staff, and $18 an hour for coordinators. The breakdown is attached into the document. Security will be paid at their current hourly rate and will receive time and a half for 8 hours, over 40 hours. And busing and costs and dinner program costs are determined based on the enrollment. District costs we paid for from ESSER funds.
So I have a question on that. The total amount on the after-school proposal is 72.9, and that's after, you know, all of the hours. So I guess it's more a question for Matt, because this is the way I think we have always done it before. Shouldn't the motion read that we're approving up to $72,900 for this, for the after-school program? It starts September 19th through June 1st of 2023. Because this, all the hours and stuff are approved, but what we're approving is the bottom
But
line.
there's the
how much
money,
we
right,
can
exactly.
spend, Right?
We need the line that says not to exceed,
Not to
and then
exceed.
see the attached detail or whatever that would
Right.
be. Yeah, right. Yeah, we can just reword this motion so that it's
Okay.
cleaner, shorter, and it has that
So
not
you
to
don't
exceed.
have all, yeah.
Yeah, we can just reword that, Rick, right?
Not to exceed, we'll just do 73,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
right. And then we can and just say, see, per attached plan, per attached schedule or whatever this is.
Because you have 72.9, I think is what's on the after-school proposal, and that kind of lays out by hourly the rates and how
Yeah.
much, but
So we'll just streamline that and take out the dollar amounts, is that what you said?
Do you want all that taken out and just put in
I
there?
don't, does that have to be in the motion?
Doesn't have to be, but it's up to you folks.
Up to you.
It's informational in your minutes to show you what you're paying, but it's up to you.
We should just leave it all there.
Fair.
You're right, it is informational, it shows all that stuff. We'll just put in the line not to exceed that, but that should be enough, I think.
And the effective dates of the program, start
Got
date
it.
September 19th, the end date June 1st, 2023.
Do we, so we're not starting until September 19th, do we, so we don't know already if we have the staffing for it? Like, we still have to
We still
recruit.
have to recruit,
Figure out what the enrollment's gonna be.
enrollment, the whole 9 yards, and we're hoping The reason why we're worried about starting that early, actually, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that go in the process, but according to the grant, you gotta have so many weeks in, so we even have to have like a day to account for something, and Summer can explain that, but we have to start as soon as we possibly can.
So I guess that's why my question is, why can't we, why aren't we starting when school starts? Like, why don't we start in the summertime or the end of, in the end of the last school year?
I don't know,
say,
do we have
hey,
to,
36 weeks.
30, yeah, we have 36 weeks that we have to do. So,
And is that because of Neighborhood Alliance?
Yes.
That's the
Their grant.
agreement?
Yes.
And we have
For them
a,
to get funded, it has to be 36 weeks.
and we have an agreement with them that spells that out.
Yes.
Okay.
So what week do we need to be starting so we can ensure there's 36 weeks?
mhm.
Right.
Does that mean we need to be starting on the 30th or the week after?
Well,
I don't know what that means.
We looked at
36 weeks, how many weeks
timeline.
are there in a school
My
year?
question is,
Right,
I think
that's what I
wait,
mean.
That
it
is-
would be nice if we could advertise sooner, but I'm not sure if we get the information from Neighborhood Learning Alliance and the grant information in time. It'd be nice if we got it for the July meeting and then we could start advertising. You hate to advertise if the grants don't come through, and then we gotta figure all that out.
Well, what does it look like maybe first day of school? I don't know if that's a letter come out. I can only imagine don't make it to the people's hands that it needs to make it to, but I don't know what can we do to notify families of the option. And is it kindergarten at 6 for after school?
Yeah, it's for,
Or does it start at pre-K?
I think it starts at pre-K. I think it starts at pre-K.
Okay.
Yeah, pre-K. But I guess that's how many weeks are in the school year?
36.
So we do need to start.
So why
Well-
can't we start at the beginning of the school year? Going back to my question.
Well,
Or staffing.
because of staffing and so on. So we talked about the
the
same questions and we came up with that number. The things that lead up to that can count for some things that we can do. I'm guessing parent meeting, parent contacts and things like that. There's things that allow us, we want to start at that point to do that beforehand. Now, if we could get the grant information in July, we can get parent information, or we can get information out there, but I agree with Ashley, maybe we, like from now to this point, but we always have to wait till we get the approval to move forward. We want to make sure we get the approval to move forward.
What do you mean by approval to move forward? To know that you got the grant money for the
Well,
program?
one, do we get the grant money, then bring it to you guys for approval?
So we don't have that yet. We don't have the grant money or the.
No, we now got wording, Summer gets the information that how much we get awarded and so on, and what we can do for us.
But
to-
we haven't, the board hasn't
Officially
officially seen it or approved it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we don't have everything in place yet to start the.
Well, we don't get the
Because
grant, do we? Neighborhood, I thought the Learning Alliance
LA
gets the
gets it,
grant.
But we have to wait from the
We
neighborhood.
have to wait till
lines.
they're sure they have the grant money before.
Yeah, so they can, but then we have to have an agreement with them, right, that they're going to pay
Correct.
this share of it. So,
Yeah.
but, and we don't have that agreement is what I'm hearing yet. We have a specific timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's timelines.
I'm
Makes it
just
difficult.
looking at what the attachment is, where it has the start date, and it looks like even like Kelly, they can only take 25 students, Turner can only take 50. So our,
Yeah, because they do have a start date for September 19th.
yeah,
Mhm.
to June 1st. That's what I mean, that's why it's nice to have that in the motion so you can see what.
Well, I guess my thought is too, is that on us to worry about the 36 weeks, or is that on NLA to worry about the 36 weeks?
It's more on us, and we discussed those timelines the same way we're discussing right now, and that's how we come up with that September, and the activities that we're doing in the 2 weeks prior, 2 or 3 weeks prior, gives us credit that we can use
Okay.
it, so.
Okay. Like the sign up is an activity for after school.
Yeah, things like
Got
that.
it.
All those
Okay,
little
that
things
makes
you
sense.
do.
Yeah, because I mean,
But if we could get all this information in July, would be ideal to get in front of you guys in July. That
well,
would
that
be,
means, I know the executive director for NLA, clearly I'm just coming back into like, oh, I'll answer your phone calls, but I feel like this could very much be given before. They know what their grants are that are coming in. It's not, NLA is not new.
okay.
They are under new leadership, but the program and, just what they offer.
Yeah, I mean, are they not finding out until August?
That-
That's the thing is we need to, because it doesn't make sense to like start September. I'd rather start at the beginning of school, and put it out, and have people sign up.
Because
Like
parents
day
are signing
one.
up for other things before.
Yeah, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Go to
before
Santa
this
House,
gets started.
anywhere else, yep.
Yeah,
Well, we
that's
should at
something we
least
can-
make them aware of it early on, so
Yeah.
that they know if
That
we're
it's an
locked into
option that's
this.
coming.
Yeah. if
Yeah,
we're
because they
locked
could
into this-
secure like, oh, grandma or grandpa will take care of them until then, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right, so at least they know it's coming.
I don't know if they have to wait on grant information or when do they get their information that they've received it?
Well, Summer will be here next week. We can
Yeah.
ask her.
Okay.
Yeah,
In the meantime, we just have to hustle to get this word out as soon as possible after school starts, right? I mean, I think that's the challenge.
Can we maybe have some flyers at the, back to school day?
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
Summer do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rescind July 26th to 2022 motion, Rick?
Yeah, so last month you guys approved the motion to sell the whole building to Mr. DeVitt. And that motion, Scott DeVitt, and the next day he rescinded, he didn't know what to buy.
Oh.
So, but the very next day,
Oh.
Ed Rosiak was able to find another person to sell it to. He already brought the check in, the check cleared the bank, we talked to Matt, we just had to change the name in the sales agreement. Everything else stayed the same, and he brought the check in for the same dollar amount.
All right, great.
So I believe that the whole building is probably going by now. I think.
So one question, Rick, on the attachments for the motion to sell it. There's the concession stand exhibit, what does that have to do with the sale?
what,
Well, so remember when we bought the whole building,
Right,
Matt thought it would be a good idea to add to the motion what it actually was we were selling. The whole building was gonna be the concession stand.
it was,
Yes, part of it.
yes.
Yes, and that's what that is. That's the drawings of what we bought.
Oh, that's the drawings of
What you're selling.
of what we're selling.
So it's an attachment to the agreement,
Yeah.
something to depict what it is that this person is buying.
It's just attached for information.
Got it. I just didn't understand what it had to do with this concession stand, had to do with the sale of it, so.
Probably could have named that something different back when we did it, but it was a document we saved under that.
Okay.
So, health and safety plan, Dr. Milishek?
Yeah, I just like to always get this improved, and we have to update it every 6 months anyways. If you want to, when you get a chance, go ahead and take a look at the plan. Last week, when I was revising the plan, of course, new CDC guidelines came out again. So I'll
Only wear a
be,
mask in the nurse's office.
what's that?
It's only wear a mask in the nurse's office.
And what I did, if you take a look at the plan, yeah,
I don't get it.
there were some areas that were eliminated, but I did added in most areas, the district will continue to adhere to CDC, Pennsylvania Department of Health, ACH, Allegheny Department of Health, and PD recommendations in there. That leaves us the flexibility to make a local decision when we need to make that local decision. It's the same format as last year. And so if there's questions, concerns between this week or next week, it's been tough to keep up with. Even contact tracing is gone by the wayside now.
Are the changes in red, or do we have to read the whole thing, or?
You would have, I apologize. Oh, you know what? I might be able to send you the
red line?
previous version. I have the updated version, but I might have the previous version in there. If you want to try and compare.
I don't want to try to compare, but.
No, I
maybe
don't
I'll
have the
just
red.
read- Yeah, okay. You don't have the red line version, or
No.
so that we could see what changed.
Yeah,
So we
sorry
have
about
to
that.
read the whole plan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I apologize.
Well, can you just tell us, are there any major changes?
No major changes. If you look at when we already revised the plan, for a lot of flexibility, I actually have it in there in red at the bottom. Complete bottom. We revised the plan in November of 21, and then we revised the plan again in March of
Right.
March 22nd of 2022.
That's so we could open.
So, yeah, so you'll see the revisions in red there that we did. I left those in red.
So basically, those are the changes you made, the ones
Yep.
in red. So we don't have to read the whole thing.
Well, no, those were the changes that we made back then. Those were simple changes. In here, I can tell you this, the only major changes is probably right at the beginning, on the masking, right there at the beginning, masking. We'll continue to monitor recommendations from CDC, Allegheny Department of Health, Pennsylvania Department of Health, PDE, and make recommendations as necessary. That comment was probably added in there a few different places to allow the flexibility for us to make quick decisions locally. But other than that, you'll see it's pretty much the same. Hygiene, we're still going to emphasize hygiene. The cleanings all stays the same. Ventilation, floors, that all stays the same. Custodial staff will have sufficient HVAC air. Some of that stuff is stuff we can do all the time anyways.
So just the masks.
Yeah, pretty much the masks. I'm just seeing if I had that comment anywhere else.
How about
Quarantining.
physical distancing?
Social distancing and quarantining, WSD will continue to adhere to CDC, PHD. I added it there down on E, and contact tracing as well. So masking, contact tracing, quarantining, it leaves us the flexibility to make local decisions. Other than that, stays the same.
So, may I ask a question, please? Is there some reason we're going with CDC guidelines and not local Allegheny County guidelines?
It's all of them combined. It leaves us, by putting them all in there, it leaves us the flexibility. It doesn't matter if we just use one. I just included, because it may come from PDE. I don't know if it may come from PDE, or it may come from Allegheny Department of Health, or it may come from CDC. So I was leaving them all in there. It leaves us the flexibility locally to make our decisions.
All right.
I'd rather, in a sense, I'd kind of rather have that be in the board's hands, to be able to take information from all those different sources, but make the decision that's best for us. But that's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, back to school then.
Board actions request to authorize the administration to spend up to $7,500 for the back to school event in August.
Almost said so moved.
Not till next week.
Sorry about that.
This is a little bit more than probably other back to school events in the past, but that's because we haven't been able to have one because of COVID for a few years. So we thought we should, go big and, really.
No, I think it's going to be good. Yeah. They put a lot of time into planning that. So.
Yeah, it's been since my first year here. We haven't had it.
Oh, yeah. It has been that long.
Yeah, it's been that long.
Yeah.
All right, the comprehensive plan.
Board actions requested to approve the comprehensive plan for 2022 through 2025, and further acknowledge the receipt of all supplemental information. All the documents are attached.
So I have a question. I know Summer's not here, but in the induction plan, I know there's a lot of new people, but there's a Paul Cindric mentioned in here. Who is Paul Cindric? And he's like curriculum and instruction.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Who is that?
I have heard that name.
Yeah, right.
It's killing me.
He's in the induction plan.
Man.
Is he with the IU?
There he is. Yeah, he's a program director, curriculum instruction.
But for,
I think the AIU.
so he's with the AIU.
Yeah.
So he's part
Great
of,
question.
the AIU is part of the
Yeah.
professional training and.
Yeah, we do use the AIU for our mentoring our induction, because it's a multi-year process.
And if I read this, at least what I read, if I read it correctly, it is a 3-year plan, right?
Yes.
But in the professional development plan question, there's a question that says, do the implementation steps cover at least a 3-year implementation horizon? We answered no.
Where do we answer no?
It's in the professional development plan, very last attachment.
Oh, yeah.
We answered no to that.
I wonder why.
That's what I'm asking. I know, and I know Summer's not here, but,
No, but yeah,
and then the other thing that we had answered no under the academic standards, based upon the responses above, would aligning locally developed curriculum to the academic standards be a priority in your comprehensive plan? And we said no.
I think those must be some typos that we'll have to ask Summer next week.
we will address that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah.
So, like, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Those aren't things,
I'm like,
those aren't things we would say
yeah.
no to.
no, that's what
Yeah.
we want. That's why, yeah, that's good information. So we'll do.
Any other comments or questions about the comprehensive plan? Okay, library cards.
Yeah, where am I at here? Library cards. Yeah, and we'll get you, when you click on that, it's still the version. Matt said some recommendations back, so we'll clean that up for you. But the board action will be requested the MOU between the Wilkinsburg Public Library and the Wilkinsburg School District to distribute library cards for every kid. They contacted me about that. They do that with other school districts. We may even be able to plan a day where our teachers go over there and actually get a
We used to do
tour on
that.
how to use it, and, you know, so they know where it's at too.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a great idea, but Matt, I did have some concern in some of the clauses, the confidentiality clauses are.
Go ahead, what's the concern? Pull it up.
Where it says that the library shall have no liability to the district for any damages, fines, or other costs that the district may incur because of providing confidential student data to the library in contravention of applicable law.
Yeah, I mean, what they're saying is that if we breach the legal requirement for confidentiality by giving them information
They're
we
not
should not be
responsible.
giving
Right,
them.
so are we going to make sure, who's going to make sure that we're not going to be breaching any confidentiality and giving whatever information is given to them?
Well, I mean, first of all, the information we're going to be giving them is name, address, and birthday.
Yeah.
That should all be designated as directory information in our annual
Birthdays
notice.
are allowed to?
Yeah, well, as long as we're designating that information as directory information in our annual FERPA notice, our Family Educational Rights to Privacy Act notice.
Okay,
I think it was in the email that I sent
Mhm.
to Dr. Joe, was just, that's what we have to give them. Then the way to ensure that we're not violating law is to designate that as directory information.
okay,
and parents, there is a sign off for parents too.
okay, good. As long as, yeah, I
Yeah,
just
and
want to make
opt
sure that we.
And I'm sorry, opt out. There's an opt out for parents.
Okay,
Hot water tank replacement, Dr. Malishnik.
It's not here, okay. Yeah, board's, will be requesting to approve the hot water tank replacement by Johnson Controls of Pittsburgh at Kelly Primary at a cost of $33,718.17 per attached. I know we've been
That
having
Ed
issues.
talked about it.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have no more discussion on that? Anyone? All right, J, special education plan.
and it will be also requested to approve our special education plan as per attached. That can't be right. Is that 2021 to 2024? Is that right?
That's what it says on
Is
the.
that what it says on it?
attachments.
Yeah, that's what it does say on the attachment.
is this one of the presentations that Jeanette was going to go over
Mhm.
with us? Because I did not see this earlier when I looked, last night when I was looking at the.
Yeah, it came
It
today.
came today,
It wasn't- yeah,
Because
so-
I did not get a chance to look at this.
Yeah,
I
just
why she
wanna-
hasn't titled that way.
I wonder why it says 21 to 3.
Right.
That could have been when we were supposed
It
to
shouldn't be
turn it in.
22 to 25.
Well, it's the data report, yeah. Maybe this has to cover retroactively.
That's what I
I'm
mean.
pulling up some of the documents, some of the attachments, and it looks as though they're PDE forms. Yeah, I mean, those are pre-produced forms, some of them. Well,
Yeah, it
maybe
looks
that's
like we
PowerPoint.
didn't turn it in last year and it's.
It wasn't due till July, June. Well, that could be. It was, the due date was July 30th of this year. The due date was July 30th.
So
We
it
got an
would've been
extension.
Retroactive.
So it must be
So we're till
retroactive.
21.
Yep. And if you look on the one, this is where we caught a major discrepancy. If you look on this, the special education data report for 21-22. It's stating that we have 44.9% special ed. That number is cut in half because we are the LEA for all of our kids at the high school.
Right.
Yes. So that number is actually on one of the links you'll see, I think is like 24 or something.
Yeah, I did look at that and I was thinking that must be old because it's the previous year, but.
Yeah, they were reporting 459 students as we were responsible for 459 students. That's closer to 900. Yeah, she'll be presenting next week as well.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at this, so I don't.
Okay, board member comments?
And actually, I'll comment. It might be Lori and Jeanette. I might have Lori come in too, because Lori was the one that was really retarded.
Okay. So since we are gonna hear those reports next week, we wanna maybe try to really get through everything else. So, just keep that in mind, that we don't have long discussions next week on every topic, because it's gonna be long already, because we have those reports and we're gonna have probably questions for
Did
them.
they just disconnect? Because Eric had an email that he sent regarding the after school program.
What do you say?
An email.
I don't know why he didn't speak during the meeting, but this will probably come up at the board meeting next week if we don't
Well-
discuss it.
What happened to
We
it?
just lost connection, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did it time out?
You still have people here.
Yeah, I saw people in the meeting, but it lost up there for me.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to discuss his comment? Or hold off till next week?
I mean, I feel like if we,
What's
just so
his
we're
comment?
clear, so the cost of the programs for the after-school program, we gave the total cost per the contract, but didn't include transportation costs and the security guard costs. So can we have that included in the resolution for next week, like in total, what that looks like? Based on the program timing, yeah. And, hoping that Rick can make an estimate of whatever that amount may look like.
Whatever all it is, let's just try to get an answer to him so that we don't deal with it.
Yes.
We don't take up time next week.
I
Yeah,
think he has a good point. I think we
That's
should
what I
just
mean,
add that to
yeah.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
because
fine.
if we didn't address that and you weren't prepared to bring that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any other board comments? Okay,
No.
public comment? Did we have any public comments in the chat room?
No.
Do we have any absent board members?
Well, that, we don't do that.
Oh,
That's
Jermaine
fine.
did have comments in here though, just in regards to the, y'all mentioned that?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay, I missed that, all right.
All right, then we're good.
That's it,
Meeting
Monica.
adjourned.
Thank you, Monica, very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing this for us.
I didn't even.
We all appreciate it.
Feel comfortable getting around.